any content creator on YouTube, whether it's crypto or vlogging, you have to have an upload schedule, and you have to have self-discipline, because as we were saying, motivation is bullshit. So you need to have, for me, I have a routine. So I have the gym, and then I make my videos. So I do that every day, 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week. You have to have a routine, and you have to just show up every single day. Especially the first 1,000 subscribers is the hardest, to grow that first base audience and to get monetized on YouTube. So it comes down to mindset, self-belief, and consistency. Everyone says consistency is key because it's true. You have to be willing to stick to your upload schedule. So for me, it's 2-3 videos a day, Monday to Friday, sometimes Saturday, depending on how the market is moving, or Sunday. So if you have a schedule, you stick to it. That's it.
So have you been uploading Monday to Friday for how long?
2 years.
Monday to Friday.
Yeah,
for 2 years.
3 videos a day. When the markets, for anyone who doesn't know about markets, you go through a bull cycle and you go through a bear cycle. And when the bull cycle, the projection is up, the bear cycle, the projection is down for a few years. So when we're in the bull cycle, because there's so much interest and popularity, I was doing 6-7 videos a day. So yeah, I would just pop them out, just bang, bang, bang. Because technical analysis, when you learn to read the chart, all you're doing is giving your predictions. So you can bang out videos quickly if you want to. But now that the market is slower, then I've cut back on my videos to 2 or 3 per day. Yeah.
But minimum is 2 videos.
Minimum is 2. Yeah, always. Yeah.
Talking about consistency, man.
Yeah.
That is consistency.
Yeah, it depends what you're doing. If you're vlogging and you're flying a drone, because I had a channel that was based around self-development where I would do cinematic. The editing, it takes longer, so maybe twice a week, once a week videos. It just depends on your niche.
So behind cameras, we're talking about how whenever you travel, there's key things that you look at before you choose a place. Mm-hmm. So it has to have internet.
Yeah.
Has to have generator.
Yeah, that's right.
And you have to be close to the gym.
Yeah, that's right. But you learn from your mistakes. I've been in places where there's no generator. I've been in places that had power cuts, and it was detrimental to my work, right? So sometimes I'd have to leave. I just have to leave right away and go to a different Airbnb. So now before I go to it, because I always use Airbnb, I ask questions. How fast? What's the Mbps of the internet, the megabytes per second? Do you have a generator? Because coming from the Western society, you don't think about these things. Yeah. So now that I've experienced quite a few different countries in Africa, I always ask questions before I arrive. Yeah.
So you travel a lot and you go to different places. And for me personally, whenever I travel, I always make sure that I try their local food. Yeah. I always make sure that I see what's different in their country. Sure. So there's a takeaway that it's like something that's already in the back of my head. Sure. So let's say, for example, if I go to Morocco, what's their culture like? Yeah. What's different about them? And maybe I found out that every house is the same color in Morocco. Mm-hmm. The food is tagine. I don't know if I say that correct. It's the best food there. Yeah. So it's like some things that you take away that end of the day could help you shape yourself. Being to different countries, what's one country that actually shaped you to become different and actually push you like, oh wow, I really have to be on my A game from now on, or like this is shaping me in this in somehow in some way.
For me, it's relationships. So I have close relationships in South Africa. I made close friends with my trainer there, and I think the relationships motivate you to. For me, it's to live in a country. So I really want to live in South Africa. So meeting these people, experiencing their culture, experiencing their personalities, and forming relationships inspired me to leave Canada. I know a lot of people watching this will be like, why would you leave Canada? Because a lot of people want to migrate to the West. But I have my reasons, and I think that was the biggest inspiration. But I'm just like you. I experienced the food. I experienced the local businesses. And that's why I really try my best to do is support local businesses. So the other day I met a woman, and she was telling me she had just opened a barbershop 2 months ago. And I was like, oh, great. I'll come get a haircut. It's not about how good's the haircut. It's about experiencing the relationship with this woman, with meeting this woman, and then going and supporting her small business. You know, I think that's really important when you're traveling. And then you build relationships that way. And so, yeah, I would say the relationships have been the most inspiring thing for me with traveling.
So you are talking about that you came from a very humble background.
Yes.
From a very poor family.
Yes.
So your story is basically from rags to riches, right?
Yes, yeah. My mom and my stepdad literally left me grocery money and they moved to the other side of the country. So I got a full-time job at a sheet metal factory. Pulled a piece of sheet metal, you punch a hole, you pull the next sheet 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. So my mind went into depression and went into anxiety and am I going to be doing this for the rest of my life? And I don't believe that you're a man when you finish high school. I think you have an experienced life. You don't. So I didn't have any backdrop. I didn't have any safety net. I didn't have any college fund. So from there, falling into depression and having bad anxiety, and I didn't know what to do. And luckily, my friend gave me a book on maximum achievement. That's the name of the book. And I highly recommend the book, Maximum Achievement, Brian Tracy. And he talked about mindset and how you can really pull yourself out of any situation, wherever you come from, and you can become successful if you're willing to shift the way that you think. So that's what I did. And it took years. It doesn't happen in a week. You don't shift your mindset in a week. You don't shift your mindset in a couple months. It takes years. Takes years of consistency. So yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to talk about because those years were so difficult. I had times where I couldn't pay rent, where I didn't have money I didn't have food in the fridge, and I didn't know what to do. So my digestive system got messed up, my sleep got messed up, and you just feel like you're never going to escape. But you have to give yourself that window of opportunity. And for me, COVID was that window. I called my parents. I said, let me move back in. Give me 1 year. I was 26. And at 26, when you've been on your own since 18, you don't want to tell all your friends, like, hey, I'm moving in with my parents. You feel shame. But I put that to the side. I said, it doesn't matter. And my friends were supportive. They were like, well, it's COVID, man. What else are you going to do? So instead of watching Netflix for 2 years, I used that time to try to make money online. And luckily, eventually, it took time. It worked out. So
I feel like there's a key takeaway that I'm taking from that, and might be, I don't know if it's a good takeaway, but it's also a good takeaway because I want you to touch upon, obviously, right now, the last 4 years of your life. You can say it's the best years of your life, right?
yeah.
You learned what you learned when you're 26.
Yeah.
And could you touch upon, because people feel like once they hit 21 and they haven't done anything, they want to be depressed, if they want to do anything. I mean, I understand you said you went through that, but then do you think there's some things that don't need to be rushed? That you have to motivate yourself. I mean, not motivate yourself, but you have to push yourself to learn other things. You have to push yourself to learn things.
Right.
But do you feel like you have to rush that? If I don't do it today, then I'm just going to be
Yeah, I think a lot of people who are coming out of high school, going into college, they know where they want to be at 25. That was me. I was like, okay, this is where I want to be at 25. And when you reach 25 and you're not there, then you start to have imposter syndrome. You start to get down on yourself. So I think that, especially as a man, that you need to focus on your finances in your 20s. 20 to 30, you have a window of opportunity, because that's usually the time that you're going to remain single, or you're going to have a girlfriend, but you're not married and you don't have kids. So you don't have major responsibilities. So you have a large window of about 10 years, 10 to 12 years, 18 to 30, because a lot of people, they settle down when they're 30. They want to start a family. Understandable. That's perfectly fine. So you have this window of opportunity. So it all depends on how you're using your time. The biggest thing about entrepreneurship that I learned is sacrifice. So you have to sacrifice the partying. Like, I sacrificed a year of my life purely everything, no friends, no dating, and I was 26, and a lot of times all my friends were still partying, they're still enjoying life, but now I'm free financially and escape the matrix, as you would say, and they're all still under the system. They're all still trying to get out of that. Now they look at me and they're like, holy cow, I want to do the same thing. So sacrifice is everything. You have to be willing to sacrifice and give yourself a window of opportunity to pursue the path that you really want to go
What's
down.
the hardest thing about sacrifice?
I think the hardest thing is you're going to be lonely. So I spent a year without seeing my friends, without any female interaction. So I dealt with loneliness. I dealt with just feeling like I wasn't going to make it, because I had online stores that failed. I put money into them, they failed. I had a YouTube channel that I did for a year, it failed, didn't make me money. So I thought I was going to go back to working a regular job and I was going to be an average Joe for the rest of my days. but I always believed that it was possible. So I just kept trying new businesses. I kept trying. I did a new YouTube channel, and after over a year of trying different businesses, the crypto channel started to take off. I learned to trade, and so I think everything comes down to being willing to go down the wrong path and knowing when to get off that path, when to change paths, and to when to try something new, and hopefully eventually something clicks, and just pray.
So most people love the digital nomad lifestyle. Most people love traveling.
Yeah.
But most people, they are lost. They don't know where to start.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do. So what's like the best advice that you would have for the audience who want to go through that route?
Yeah.